In the shadow of the Second World War, as Europe lay fractured and exhausted, a new kind of aircraft took to the skies. Not built for bombing cities or dogfighting in clouds of smoke, but for the quieter, yet equally vital task of rebuilding a shattered world. This aircraft was the Handley Page Hastings, and its story is inseparable from the fragile peace that followed the greatest conflict in human history. Designed in the late 1940s, the Hastings was Britain's first purpose-built military transport aircraft. It emerged at a time when the nature of warfare had changed. Victory was no longer secured solely by firepower, but by logistics, by the ability to move men, machines, and supplies efficiently across vast distances. In that sense, the Hastings represented a psychological shift from destruction to stabilization, from chaos to order. Its defining moment came during the Berlin Airlift of 1948 and 1949, when the Soviet Union blockaded West Berlin, cutting off food, fuel, and medical supplies to over 2 million civilians. The Western Allies faced a moral and strategic crisis. The response was audacious. Rather than retreat or escalate into open war, they chose cooperation, discipline, and endurance. The Hastings became one of the workhorses of this effort, flying relentlessly into the besieged city, often under dangerous conditions, delivering coal, flour, and hope. These missions were not glamorous. They demanded precision, courage, and repetition. Thousands of flights, day and night, in poor weather, with no margin for error. Yet it was precisely this commitment to responsibility and order that defined the aircraft's legacy. The Hastings proved that resolve does not always roar. Sometimes it hums steadily at cruising altitude. The Handley Page Hastings stood out among late 1940s military transports for its reliability and load capacity. Compared with the American C-54 Skymaster, the Hastings offered a slightly larger payload and more modern post-war design, though the C-54 had a longer operational range. Against the later C-124 Globemaster II, the Hastings was smaller and less powerful, but far easier to operate from shorter runways. The Avro York, its British contemporary, carried similar loads, but lacked the Hastings' improved handling and structural refinement. Overall, the Hastings filled a crucial middle ground, robust, versatile, and perfectly suited to Britain's global post-war commitments. Throughout the 1950s, the aircraft continued to serve the Royal Air Force across the globe, supporting operations in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. It transported troops, evacuated civilians, and sustained distant bases during the early tensions of the Cold War. Though it never fought in the conventional sense, its role was no less critical. The Handley Page Hastings reminds us that history is not shaped only by weapons, but by systems, by those who choose to carry burdens rather than inflict them. In that sense, it stands as a symbol of post-war responsibility, a machine built not to dominate, but to hold civilization together when it mattered most.